Hello everyone, Switch Up here. I decided to do a review about What Beneath Lies. This episode was, well, how to say, this episode was mostly focused on the young six. I think that this episode was very interesting. It basically focused on the young six rather than the main six. But who knows, maybe this young six could be the next generation. Like, we know now that this Generation 5 will be aired on TV around 2020. But I mean, what else about? Is it possible that the main six, that the young six, will be part of this? But anyways, what lies beneath is a very detailed more about the history of magic in Equestria. They had this a test to see about they haven't learned about Equestrian magic, or at least the Equestrian's history. Even if they are from different parts of the entire world, from Grevestone to Mount Eris, from Yakistan, and some other places in the entire world. But what else can we say about the Young Six? At first I thought they would not be focused mainly only on the main six, but this episode has not been focused on the main six, which is a great idea. Personally, I believe that the staff have made just a perfect, excellent idea for a storyline just based on the young six rather from the main six. I mean, focused from the views of the point of view of the students rather from the main six. But they also have been focused mostly how friendship have its effect on Equestrian history. Even if they want to study itself in, I mean, they have the young six. At first, they have very much difficult to realize, even consider what makes them special, and especially when they have been learned about friendship. Even Koseglow's word hearing that since the young six could feel still uncomfortable around each other, even they still learn about friendship, even if they are from different cultures. Dragons that doesn't even care about friends, that are griffins they even like anyone or even themselves, and that the yaks only cares about smashing things, but the hippogriffs has been under the ocean for years, hasn't still been unwilling to trust any others since, well, since Storm King tried to take over, and that Oselius is an inherit as a changeling. But even if Koseglow means saying that each of those other young six are from different cultures. That means that she believes that friendship, he doesn't even care, is not part of their species nature. That the pony kind is the only who can accept and embrace friendship, while the others can't. But that is just much wrong. Anyone can embrace and share friendship, no matter what kind of species you are. If you're a griffin, hippogriff, yak, or a sheep, or a changeling, you can still embrace friendship, no matter what kind of creature you are. It doesn't matter, as long you're happy to be with others, to be willing to learn about friendship, and even to teach others. But Demetrius can see that the young six is discovered some secret compartment in the library. It takes under beneath the skull, and this twilight appears like in a sparkle form middle anywhere. It turns out it was something that they thought that could be Twilight, but she's testing them for something. So all the main young six gets in separate ways and enter their in separated rooms. Gallus is apart when he gets in a room, lest the room is shrinking because he has claustrophobia, the phobia of tight spaces. Sambar, when doesn't want to make his friends, he didn't want to make them disappoint his friends. And Smolder, that she enters a tea party with some ponies, that she likes to be a girly type pony kind, or likes to be like a princess girly type. But she didn't admit it because she is afraid that any pony would laugh at her, calling her jokes, calling her names, calling her that she's a chicken, that she's scared, that she's too girly to be so tough, that all her tough act is just an act. And that Lucilius believes that she is that could never accept that true friendship, and that she could still be part as that she will return back to the old changeling form like Chrysalis. Even Silverstream was very much afraid when she ended up in her test, that she believed that Storm King was still alive and that he was still going out after her and the other hippogriffs for what they had done against him. And Jonah, the yak, she had us in a small space as well, but instead for others, she had afraid of spiders. Seeing them, how they interact with their personal fear is very much deeply touching by the writers of this episode. To see how much they get embraced their fear of the particular one personal fear and how they can overcome it, and suddenly how much they realized if they can come over their own personal fear, their friendship can stop any type of fear who brings them on them. But Sambar and Gallus discovers that this hole, the entrance to the catacombs under the skull, is start to be covered by crystals, and they had to find their friends before the entrance has been completely covered. They suddenly had tried to find the others. Even Gallus tried to convince Silverstream that Storm King is defeated, that he's gone, but she claims that he's still there. But how much they all work together now to admit their own fear together as a friends, and they realize true friendship can be in their creatures, in their culture's nature, regardless how much they are as part. It proves on that both yaks, hippogriffs, changelings, dragons, and griffins has friendship in their nature if they are willing to open up, to share their friendship. Even that the hippogriffs are most likely one of the friendly kind, since the changelings have just recently opened up to be friendly. The griffins, anyways, they are the one kind that don't like any others or any or themselves. Even they had this particular tradition, the Blue Moon Festival, the only time of the year where they try to not to fight or even argument with each other to start any conflict. Even that happens can be something that even small time that they try to not avoid any conflict even during this particular holiday. But this episode was so deeply focused on the especially how this the young six discovered that friendship is in fact part of their species culture in their is deep in their nature as well. They proves and shows that friendship can appear in any of their species kinds, regardless or if anyone doesn't even believe that friendship can be part of their life. No. But that is true. All of them have proven that. In and even then, the young six eventually overcome their fear, and suddenly all of that stops. After they all admit their fears for each other, they believe that true friendship can be part of their tradition of their kind's nature. But after they have managed to get back to the entrance, it is too late. The entire opening has been covered by crystals. But then suddenly Twilight appears. But then they found out that she isn't actually the real Twilight. In fact, that is the Tree of Harmony's conscience. The Tree of Harmony explains since they have grown so much to learn about true friendship and embrace friendship in their own kind, to willing to learn, to teach others, even if there were some people or other creatures saying that that is against their true nature, that the griffins, the dragons will never embrace the true friendship, but it has. They can prove it. But then the Tree of Harmony explains that even if she has grown and her powers have increased over time, so it proves friendship can be any kind of creature's nature, regardless whether they are the dragons, hippogriffs, griffins, jacks, changelings. Doesn't even matter. You can still be true friendship with them. That you can. It is possible. And after that the Tree of Harmony had taught the young six about true friendship, that their kinds can also embrace friendship, and that friendship is part of their nature. She let the students to go. And afterwards, the students are back in the library. They're so exhausted of all this training, running, and all the trying to figure out what is to happen. They thought that they're going to fail the test, but since Cozy Glow managed to was going to talk to Twilight about this and make sure that they would have some extra time. But through the end of the episode, we can see that Cozy Glow is looking at the entrance to the catacombs. She thought never. It seems that she never expected to see that the catacombs could be beneath the school itself. So what could it else be down there? And what was the purpose of this about the young six to even be there to learn about their friend, their fears? Well, I will say that if they had not even came over the fear, they will still be trapped down there until they have it. But since they embrace their friendship and especially overcome all their fear, prove them to be right about friendship is part of their species' nature. even if most of the others don't even believe that those kind of creatures like griffins, dragons, yaks don't even accept friendship, but they have all proven them wrong. This episode was so deeply focused, especially on the young Zigs, how they embrace their how to embrace and even encounter to or even stand face to face with a true fear, and even especially when they overcome the fear, which prove them that if they stand together as friends, they can overcome any danger, any fear that brings on them. And what else can I say about what lie, what beneath lies? This episode, even it's not one of the top favorites, but this episode was really amazing to see how the young Zigs interact with each other, and especially how they interact with their fear. They can prove that even they are still have some fear about this, but they have some at least overcome some part of their fear completely or just part of it. But I would say they overcome their fear completely. But what else about this episode itself? Well, I would say this might be one of the best episodes in season 8 so far. But what else can I say except bravo! Young Zex, you finally overcome your fear. And as the rating for this episode, normally I will get this episode an A+ as one of the top favorites. But since this was not one of my top 5 or top 10 favorites, but it still is a good episode, I admit that. So I will give this a B+. And I would like to hear all of you what you think about this episode. Do you think that this episode was great, good, bad, or it could be even better if they can have brought up something else in this topic? And what do you think about how Glow is meaning when she looks at the entrance of the catacombs? Do you think that she was only heard about it, or she was surprised to see that the Tree of Harmony was right beneath the school? I would like to hear all about what you think. You can leave that all in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Swedish Diablo over and out.